Remember when we were much younger and for days, hours, we would spend time in church stomping on the devil. But I'm sure by now you know we're just fooling ourselves. The devil didn't feel anything physically, and there's no proof that hell is under the earth geographically. However, what we're really stomping on was prime real estate, probably worth millions, or in some cases billions of naira, and our little religious brains couldn't comprehend it back then. At the end of this video, you will learn a lot about these mega churches and pastors you love and respect so much. And dare I say, when this video ends, you'll be more fired up than ever to be a landowner. You ready? Let's go.
They are too much in a hurry. He has 1 million and he wants to buy a new car, a brand new car, man. So he goes from bank to bank. You are not buying business. It's a waste asset according to accountant. You are buying a car. You don't have a plot of land and you are borrowing money to buy a car. They say, why? It's public image. No, that's public damage.
Do you ever notice how some churches in Nigeria just seem to have it all? I mean, we're not talking about simple buildings with stained glass and a few pews. No, some churches have become massive empires, big ones. And it's not just about spreading the word of God, it's about expanding territory. We're talking about sprawling complexes, private jets, and real estate that will make any businessman envious. Take Abuja for instance. The city has its share of spiritual giants. Let's start with one of the flashiest, Koza.
We love this place, but we are covering this place. We are seeing schools, we are seeing all the thousands, we are seeing something checking into the hotel, the family. Not much children facility, that's not enough. And I feel wait for a while because I put pressure on people. And I kept calling, what's happening with the selling? This land is very fine. It's in hectares upon hectares on the main road. Stone throw from the city gate.
And because it was so good, they bought it all. It was built for a reported 2 million euros. And it's not just in any location, it's perched in Guzape, a prime spot where land isn't cheap. 5-bedroom duplexes by Cosgrove in this location go between 500 million to 700 million naira. It's like they are saying, hey, our God deserves the best, and so do we. And you know, they're not wrong for wanting the best, but come on, that's a lot of cash if we're being honest. You have to wonder where it all comes from, right? And what exactly is it paying for? But wait, then there's Dunamis, which boasts the largest church building in the country. They've got a place that can fit over 100,000 people. Can you imagine that? It's practically a small town in itself. The church complex could make a stadium blush. But beyond the massive crowds, think about what goes into maintaining such a place. The land, the infrastructure. It's not just a church, it's a full-blown operation. But make no mistake, Lagos has its heavy hitters too. We can't talk about church empires without mentioning the RCCG, the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Boy, are they redeemed.
Mr. Son, that house is yours. Amen. Mr. Son, walk up and down this place. As far as your eyes can see, I've given it unto you. Today we have more than 800 acres of land there.
And that's in Dallas, US, by the way, not even in Nigeria. Their presence here is even more proliferated, and it's even in their mission statement to have an RCC branch within 2 minutes walking distance from every home in every city on every street. This is a serious real estate portfolio and manifesto. And if you think about it, they are not too far off from that goal. You have a redeemed parish on almost every street in Nigeria. But their real gem, the Redemption Camp. That place is so vast, it has its own zip code. It's a city within a city, with banks, schools, and even a university, the Redeemers University. You can practically live your entire life without stepping outside. But is it just about worship, or is it something more? Well, we'll get to that. Now, speaking of the big dogs, I would be remiss if I didn't add Winners Chapel to this list. If you take a trip out to Ownahome, and I've been there before, you'll find the famous Winners Chapel, aka Faith Tabernacle. The auditorium there is so big, it's literally in the Guinness World Record for being one of the largest church auditoriums in the world. When you get there, you realize that it isn't just a place to go for your Sunday service, it's an estate, an extensive estate. It's got businesses, schools, housing estates inside of it, and an infrastructure that could rival any local government in Nigeria. But outside the Faith Tabernacle, they are building an even bigger auditorium, the Ark, set to be launched next year, 2025. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. I mean, it's not like these churches didn't face criticism in the past. You've probably heard the usual accusations: pastors living lavishly, jet setting across the world, while many of their followers are barely making ends meet. It's a tale as old as time, right? Yet somehow these churches just keep getting bigger and bigger, building even more ambitious projects. Already makes you wonder what the real focus is: salvation or square footage? Now, if you think this video is one of those videos where we speculate as to who's a fake pastor and who isn't, well, you can log off now. This is not a salacious blog or tabloid where you want to just go and learn these things or argue these things. The purpose of this video is way deeper. Because this is a real estate channel, we are going to focus on the bigger picture. These churches are preaching the gospel quite alright, and one might say they're in the business of selling Jesus, like a popular creator on YouTube, Bella opines. But that's not entirely true. They're in a whole other business, truly, and this is not up to conjecture, one that you and I would probably not notice if we did not look closely. Now let's talk specifics, because it's one thing to say that this churches own land, it's another to actually just see how much ground they are covering. And let me tell you, we're not talking about a small patch of land for Sunday services. We're talking about prime properties that span across acres and acres, sometimes even rivaling the size of entire neighborhoods. Take Koza, for example. Their building in Gozape sits on one of the city's most exclusive areas. The Gozape district is known for its high-value real estate, and Koza's location just isn't any spot. It's right there in the heart of luxury. The city is literally set on a hill. The church sits on several acres, with reports saying that the building alone was constructed for around 2 million euros. But that's just the building itself. The land it sits on could be worth even more, especially in the area where prices can soar as high as 500 million per plot. And with a property like that, it's not just a church. It is a statement, a physical marker of influence in a city where land is the ultimate status symbol. Then we've got Dunamis with its glory dome. Located along the airport road in Abuja, this isn't just any church. It's the one with the largest auditorium in the world, seating over 100,000 people. But it's not just about the size of the building. It's the sprawling 70-acre campus that surrounds it. Think about that for a second. 70 acres of prime real estate right along a key artery leading to the city's airport. If you're familiar with land and values in Abuja, you know this is a gold mine. And with that much space, there's room for everything: parking lots, event spaces, and more. It's practically a small city of its own. There were reports that Koza also last year purchased acres of land around the same axis for its own headquarters. Now let's move on to Lagos and talk about the RCCG, their redemption camp along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. It's massive, over 2,500 acres. And they are not just stopping there. That's right, the church is constantly expanding, acquiring more land along that crucial highway. The redemption camp isn't just a church. It's an entire ecosystem. There's housing for church members and visitors, a university, banks, schools, and countless shops and businesses. It's almost like a spiritual Disneyland where you can live, work, and worship without ever leaving the ground. And with land along the expressway becoming more valuable every year, you can see why owning this much property is a savvy investment. And then there's Winners Chapel out in Ota Shongo. The Faith Tabernacle is known for its size, over 50,000 seats. But the real story lies in the Kenaland estate it sits on. The estate covers over 10,500 acres. That's massive. Right, 10,500 acres. And to put that into perspective, that's bigger than some entire towns in Nigeria. It's a sprawling complex with everything from secondary schools to university, banks, a publishing house, and even a massive housing estate for staff and church members. With that much land and under their control, Winners Chapel has created a self-sustaining community all centered around the church's activities. So now, you add it all up and do the maths. But you want to know what's more interesting? Newer churches are catching on. So let's talk about the newer churches on the block. You know, churches with the new gen vibe that are sleek, have a social media presence, trendy sermon series, and a congregation that skews to the younger demographic. One of the bigger players in this new wave, Celebration Church International. They're not just staying local, they've gone global. They've got over 20 branches, not just in Nigeria, but in places like Canada, They just opened 2 branches right now in Canada, which I happen to be in the moment in Barrie and Oshawa. In the UK, you name it, they are spreading like wildfire with the message far and wide. Now, here's where things get very interesting. Unlike some of the older church giants who own sprawling estates, Celebration Church has been playing it a little differently. For a while, they've been renting spaces for their service, keeping things lean and mobile, which, by the way, is another real estate opportunity, because new generation churches and churches that want to start are paying ground rent and leasing land for their use. But that's a story for another video. But recently, Celebration Church has started to make some serious moves in the property game. They have acquired a large piece of land in Abuja, which definitely shows that they are ready to put down roots. And we're not talking about just any property, it's prime real estate that gives them a solid foothold in the capital city. They've also done the same in Port Harcourt, a formal industrial/factory which the Port Harcourt branch now either leases or have bought. We're not very clear on the arrangements. But that's not all. Word on the street is that they are eyeing a very juicy property, a major property in Lagos with a price tag running to over 7 billion naira. Yeah, you heard that right. 7 billion naira. It's a big jump and is also a sign that they are ready to play in the big leagues. Sources say that this said property that they are trying to buy belongs to a popular pastor, Tunde Bakare. He was once Buhari's presidential running mate in an attempt to pander to the Christian and Southern demographics in the election, until Osinbajo came along to seal the deal for Buhari. And for these churches, it's not just about owning space, it's about creating a hub, a center of influence. It's almost like saying, we've been renting long enough, now we are ready to build something that's ours. This move is a big deal. Lagos is the heart of businesses in Nigeria, and owning a property here isn't just a spiritual statement, it's a power move. It says that we are not just here to preach on Sundays, we are here for the long haul with a vision that extends beyond the pulpit. And when you drop that kind of cash, it's not just about having a place to worship, it's about making sure you have a stake in the city's future. It's a strategic step, as if they are positioning for some things that are even bigger to come. Now, does any of this sound very triggering to you? Like you should be doing something about it? Well, if it's not, allow me to do the honors. Now, here's the real takeaway. These churches that we have been speaking about, they know something that some of us are still trying to catch up to. They figured out that real estate isn't just a side hustle, it's the foundation for building something that lasts. They're making big moves, buying up land in prime locations and turning it into something meaningful. Time will fail me to talk about Pastor Matthew's KICC and their real estate portfolio, and how Pastor Matthew is now running his own billion-naira real estate company with his flagship estate Macarius. Pastor Bolaji's Harvesters and their new massive building under construction in Lekki. David Ibiome's Salvation Ministry's massive project under construction in Iguta River State, among others. All new auditoriums under construction sprawling several acres and in some cases hectares. And these are just the popular ones. These are just the ones that make the headlines. Several other pastors and spiritual leaders under the radar making massive real estate mega church moves. But here's the thing. You as a member shouldn't be left behind in the game. I don't think it's fair that churches are making these moves and members aren't. Think about it. If these churches that you love and worship in understand the value of owning property, then why shouldn't you? They've seen the importance of real estate as a way to secure their future and expand their reach, and they've put their money where their mouth is. From sprawling estates in Abuja to prime properties in Lagos, they're not just preaching about prosperity, they're investing in it. They're walking the talk. So why should you be content with just being a spectator in all this, and even sometimes contributing to it? This is your chance to get in on the action. In Lagos especially, the free trade zone area, it is full of opportunities. This region is buzzing with potential, with the kind of growth that could transform investment into something much bigger down the line. It's a place where new businesses are springing up, infrastructure is expanding, and the land is becoming more valuable by the day. And don't just take my word for it. Take a look at what the good book says. Occupy till I come. That's a call to take charge, to stake your claim, to not just sit back and watch. I'm not a prosperity preacher. I'm just a common YouTuber, and I hope a voice of common sense. You've got a chance to own something real, something tangible that you can pass on to the next generation. You can build your own little slice of this city, just like the churches are doing, and watch it grow in value over time. And I'm not suggesting competing with the churches. I'm suggesting getting inspired. Yes, it may take you some sacrifices. Maybe you have to save more. Maybe you have to cut back on a few things, or think outside the box to make it happen with creative financing strategies, or maybe be inspired to just take a step of faith in making the initial deposit. But isn't it worth it? Imagine owning a piece of prime Lagos real estate, your own land, your own investment in a place that's growing faster than ever. It's not just about owning a home, it's about securing your future, just like the churches have secured theirs, and it will continue for generations to come. So don't wait until you're priced out of the market. Take that step now and look for opportunities to invest, especially in Lagos, areas like the Free Zone, with its many operational and tax benefits. It's not just for the big guys with their sprawling estates. You too can have a stake too. After all, if the churches have shown us anything, is that real estate is the key to building something that lasts. Don't miss out on the chance to do the same. It's okay to seem lost and not even know what you're doing at first, but that's why I'm here. For help with information about these areas and about investing in Lagos and how to go about investing, contact me and I'll be happy to respond and help you. Take my word for it. Several people are realizing the opportunities that real estate offers, and this is me offering you a chance to cut a piece for yourself. Take it. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Ownahome TV show. Here on Ownahome, believe owning a home, owning a property should not make you lose sleep. So we are committed to giving you the very best property recommendations and insider real estate tips. I hope you enjoyed this video. Kindly like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the very next video. Bye bye.